She has. Okay. Whatever you tell me, okay? Calm down. Wait. I start? I start? Look closely. In the center, a child, trapped behind invisible bars. Around them, the world spins freely. People drinking, smoking, gambling, people addicted to their devices, making choices they were once told they weren't ready for. The cage isn't made of metal. It's built from laws, limits, and age restrictions. But here's the question. Are these bars meant to protect or to confine? Are we shielding the young or simply locking them away from understanding the real world? Today, we open this discussion, not to rig the cage, but to ask who built it, why it stands, and what happens when it finally opens.
So now let's see what's next and what can we do about it.
Following is a session aiming to express the opinions of youth aged from 14 to 18, along with concerned parents.
From the young participants, here we have Maria and Mirabella from Romania, Iggy from Ireland, Jad and Filipa from Austria, and Maya from Poland. And the time is limited, so I will pass the microphone to young people who will introduce their statements and you will see what they want to say and how they feel.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we all might know, we are in the middle of a media revolution. But before we talk about protecting children, we need to be brutally honest about one thing, about the cost of the solutions being proposed. Age verifications require the tracking of ID, movement, and online behavior at a level that was unheard of 1 decade ago. If we normalize this, what happens when speech, press, and dissent all become traceable to a verified identity? Today's safety might be tomorrow's surveillance state. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I would like to speak a bit about the implications of age restrictions on children's right to freedom of speech. As you all know, young people use social media to discuss their thoughts and opinions, to debate, and to speak out against issues that face them. I think it's an essential space for political expression, and especially nowadays, through social media, a lot of younger people are getting interested in politics and society. I think young people pioneer a lot of the social change. For example, the recent wave of Gen Z-led protests around the world are a powerful example. And I think age restrictions would silence the youth voice. They would prevent people from coming together, speaking out against injustice. I think youth participation in society should be nurtured and developed instead of stamped out. And I will just leave you with a thought. How can children be expected to grow up and participate and believe in democracy when for the first 16 years of their life, they're taught that the right to express their opinions online does not apply to them?
I strongly believe in clear and meaningful age restrictions for social media and digital platforms. The way things are right now is not working. Children are exposed to environments, pressures, and content they're simply not prepared to handle. And pretending that no restriction is a solution only leaves them more vulnerable. Childhood is a precious and irreplaceable stage of life. Kids deserve the chance to grow, explore, and develop without being pushed into online spaces designed for adults. Without proper safeguard, they face overwhelming social pressure, addictive design, and risks they cannot yet understand or manage. Age restrictions are not about taking freedom away. They're about creating safe boundaries that support healthy development. Children need time to play, to imagine, to interact face to face, and to discover who they are without constant algorithmic influence. You as adults have the responsibility to help build a digital world that protects young people just as much as the physical one does. Thank you.
So hi everyone, my name is Maya, and I wanted to start with the point that we all know that the implementation of age restriction is not really good. We all know that kids are really creative and they always found the way to go over their boundaries. That's the same thing with age restrictions. Even we got them, the kids are not really following them, but they really need it because kids under the age of 13 don't really got like critical thinking skills, and they can't tell what's good and what is bad. That's why they are exposed to mental health issues, and we need this. So just to sum up, my point of view is that age restrictions are a really good idea, but we need to develop the implementation of that. Thank you.
In my opinion, age restrictions, especially as it was mentioned before, to the age of 16, does not follow one of the most important rights to the child. Firstly, the right to participation and the right to equality. If children who are from rural mediums where they do not have access to tutoring, to good teachers, a lot of them goes to the internet, to social media, to tutoring programs, to YouTube for different ways to learn, and so they can get on the same level as other children in the places where they live. If we take the right to social media from them, how will they be able to gain the information that they will need to succeed in society? Even more, if we're throwing them out at such a big age like 16, we're throwing them into a giant pool of information where they will not know how to manage the amount of information. They will not know how to research properly. They will not know how to understand and what to do with information, how to differentiate the good from the bad and the right information from the wrong information. We have to educate them properly, and we have to show them that there are good things on the internet and there are bad things on the internet, and they need to take care which side they are on. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Maria. We live in a world where children scroll even before they can read. They enter the internet like an open door, full of risks, such as misinformation, a lot of hate and strangers and manipulation. And despite all that, how can we expect them to simply know how to stay safe? So, in my opinion, no one can protect themselves from something that they don't understand. And that brings us to my statement, that education must be the solution. Yeah, restrictions do exist, but let's be honest, we all know that children can easily bypass them. And education can do what restrictions cannot. She can teach every child every day. Teach about privacy, about respect online, about how to report, about how to manage a message of hate, because when a child understands why a rule exists, it becomes to him rather a choice than an obligation. And exactly that is the power of education. It doesn't just control the behavior now, it controls the decisions that the teenagers are going to make in the future, when for them the age restrictions are not going to exist anymore. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now heading the word to the parents who will introduce their statements and questions, which they will have 9 minutes for. So I would kindly ask the responders and the parents to come to the stage. So to introduce the parents, we have Tomasz Smaczny from Poland, who is a team coach and parenting educator and also parent of one daughter. Then we have Marina Wetzer-Karlsson from Finland, who is a consultant and grandmother of 7. And then Amaia Echevarría from Spain, who is in a parent association and also parent of 2 teens.
And for the responders, we have Sarah from Ireland, Antonia from Bulgaria, and Paul from Germany. Here you go.
Okay, my name is Marina, and firstly I want to thank you for an excellent day today, and especially the young people. And my statement is, we as adults have the responsibility to listen to the young people. Everything what you have said today is true, and I also think that what was said this morning, that there shouldn't be divide between the physical life and the virtual life. It is life. So we as adults need to learn to navigate in that and listen to the young people. That's my statement. Thank you.
Okay. I thought you would respond to the previous one. Okay, on one of the banners, I saw a very powerful statement of yours that the access to social media or internet should be based on competency, not on the age. So my statement would be, if you feel competent to enter any kind of space, including social media, you should be able to answer the parent basic questions. What is it for? Why do you need it? The social media? Yes.
For me, social media is a tool before anything else. It's a way to connect with people from all over the world. It's a way to establish yourself. It's a way to inspire others and get inspired. And this is why it's important for me to have access to social media. I mean, I'm almost 18, so it's not going to affect me. But if I was a teenager now and just getting into those years, I would be grateful if I had access to social media. Yes, I admit that throughout the process of growing up and establishing like a profile communication in social media, I've made many mistakes. The first one was making my profile public, because it really is dangerous. And if I could go back and talk to myself, I would tell myself to be more careful, because then I didn't see the risks of social media for what they were. But the truth is that I just didn't know. No one came and told me. My parents just told me that I cannot have it without an explanation following. This is why it's very important for me to be able to speak here freely today, to express my opinion, to say that education is really the most important part, as the people speaking before us said, because it's important for us to know. That's what we want. We want to learn and to be able to do everything on our own one day, because
at the end of the day, everybody becomes an adult. And if we don't have the knowledge to navigate our own lives, not only in the real world but online, we won't succeed. That's the truth for me.
Hello. Well, my statement is very similar to what Antonia has just said. I think that digital revolution is a complete change for us parents as well, and we are still learning. And I think we don't really understand how you young people use technology, because you use it for different things and in different ways that we do. So we need to understand that. And I think that education is key. My statement would be a ban cannot be a substitute for education, because we need to guide young people, and if we want to guide them, we need to access it with them, we need to educate, we need to do it together to teach them how to do things. And also to let them know that if something bad happens, they can ask for help. If we ban it and something bad happens, they will not ask for help because they have done something that they were supposed not to do. And I think that's a risk. So I think we need to, I think educate, and as parents, we need to know how to educate as well. We need to be educated to be able to work with our children and to educate them. So I think that's my statement, basically.
I think I definitely agree. I think education is what needs to be done. It's the way forward. I think parents need to be able to have like open communication with their children. I think it's very important that parents are able to talk to their children freely, and they're able to come with them about worries and how to use social media. Because when children aren't allowed on social media, if they are on it and something happens, then when telling their parents, they're less likely to do it. I think children, if they have open communication with their parents, or talking to them and learning with them on how to use it, they're going to be able to do it safer. I think parents, they shouldn't ban their children from social media, but they should put in certain rules. I think phones can be often very distracting. I think children shouldn't be able to have their phones all the time. I think we're just saying that we're banning them completely isn't the way forward. Limiting their screen times before they go to bed, or not letting them on copious amount of hours on the internet, but teaching them how to use it safely and use it for education, because social media can be a great tool to learn new skills and new hobbies. Social media and the online world has taught me so much today, and I think being able the youth to be able to use that in their day-to-day lives is such important, and that's why educating them how to use it safely, so then when they are growing up, that they know how to go through the online world is just so important.
I mean, I can only agree with that. Education is definitely really important, but I still think that some restrictions are needed. For example, I wouldn't really want people that are, I don't know, maybe 7 years old to be on TikTok, for example, because I think that this short form content has a great danger of dopamine addiction. And I think the way to combat that, at least for people our age, is to inform, to tell them what dopamine does to your brain and TikTok and that short form content, and really just, explain that it damages the dopamine part of your brain, and you won't get any dopamine from real stuff anymore, which then leads to addiction. And I think that's the most important thing for me, but I think it shouldn't only be done through the parents, but through the education system. Because if you do it through the parents, there are going to be some parents, mainly maybe from poorer families, that don't really care about that, and that don't really talk that much to their children, maybe don't have the time to do that. And that's why I think you have to do it through the education system to reach everybody and not widen the gap between rich and poor.
One thing that I would like to add is that for young people like us, and I think that here I'm talking for everybody, is that we need trust. We want to know that we can trust people and that we are trusted. Because when you limit a child and, like, for example, you tell to your child that they cannot use social media until they're 16 because they're too young, this child is not trusted, and it feels that. And I was the same way, and I was so mad at my parents. I remember that I just found a way to bypass all of their restrictions, to do whatever I want, and I see how it has impacted the way I think, the way I act, the way I communicate. And really, trust is one of the most important aspects when it comes to raising children from the child's perspective, because I'm not a parent. I cannot, I really want to, but I cannot step in your shoes and know what it's like. I mean, one day I hope I will be able to, but right now I cannot. So it's really interesting for me to know what your point of view is. I mean, I know that you try to protect your children, but you're also an example to them. You're also their leader in the first at least 18 years of their life in a perfect world, because, I mean, everybody makes mistakes and people tend to take the bad things from their parents as well. So if I could go off script here and ask you, how do you decide what's the best way to restrict your child or to introduce them to the online world?
I think that for me as parents, and I'm the director of UNAF as well, which we do lots of webinars with parents to teach them about technology, because as I said, it's new for us as well, and we need to understand how to use it. And personally, I try to inform myself and to put some norms. Not having bans doesn't mean that there will be no norms, no limits, but you need to negotiate with the children. I think that you need to explain the limit, you need to tell them why you are putting this limit and what will happen if that limit is not followed. But I think it needs to be an open communication as well, because if you set a limit, you need to explain why. Otherwise, it seems very unfair, even though there is a good reason behind it. But it does seem very unfair. So I think that communication is also a key point. For me, I have 2 teenagers, and I love watching social media with them because they teach me as well lots of things, and I see what they like, I see their interest, and it's a way for me as well to have a little peek, a window to see who they are becoming and what they like, and I really enjoy that. I think it's a process of knowing each other. So that's what I would say. I don't know.
Yes, thank you. I also think that we as adults, we need to lead by example. If we look at some social media platforms where adult people do not behave as they should. So I think that that is also one important thing. And I also think that all of you are totally right. And like Amaia said, that we as parents, grandparents, adults, we need to educate ourselves. So that is how we also guide our children and young people in the real life. So it shouldn't be different, I think.
Unfortunately, we're running out of the time. Thank you all for participating. So after we heard all the different perspectives of this highly important topic, I will hand the microphone to Carlo, who will introduce and guide you through the whole process and details technical that you need to know. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And can we just give another round of applause to all of the young people who contributed to that session?